Audemars Piguet is best known for Royal Oaks, but some of the brand's rarest and most important watches were never meant for mainstream collectors, even like myself, or the public view. There's many off-catalog APs just like Rolex. These pieces that exist at the edges of Audemars Piguet's history, ultra-limited, technically extreme, or culturally significant in ways most people really never get to encounter. What follows isn't a list of expensive watches. It's a look at watches that are functionally invisible even to seasoned collectors. And before we get into this list, it's worth saying this perspective doesn't come from reading catalogs. We buy, sell, trade, consign, source, service, we even do appraisals, which means we see watches that circulate publicly and the ones that almost never surface at all as well. So let's start with the first one, the Audemars Piguet Grosse Pièce. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The 16869. This is where rarity actually begins. It's one of the most important pocket watches ever produced by Audemars. Created in 1921, this was not commercial product. It was a demonstration of just absolute capability. The watch features a grand complication movement, combines a perpetual calendar as well, which is rare, chronograph, and a minute repeater, which is most rare. All executed at a time when this level of watchmaking was still done almost entirely by hand. Very few examples like this exist, and even fewer survive in documented conditions. Pieces like the 16869 are rarely sold, usually at auction, rarely exhibited, and almost never handled by the public. When people talk about AP's heritage, this is the foundation they're standing on, even if they're never going to see it. I've never seen one. I would hope you guys get to see one. This isn't just rare, it's institutional level watchmaking. Okay, next, the Royal Oak Roast, reference 26730BC ZZ.1320BC99. It's almost like an Omega reference number on that one. It's a mouthful. This is one of the strangest and most polarizing Royal Oaks ever produced. This isn't just a watch meant to be liked by everyone. It was intentionally diverse. Most collectors will never see one. I've never seen one in person, and even fewer will ever have the chance to own one. The Roast represents modern AP at its most experimental, testing how far the Royal Oak identity can be pushed before it stops being familiar. Next, the Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Openwork, reference 25636PT, which you don't see too often, the PT. This watch sits at the intersection of three things collectors obsess over: platinum, openworked, and movements. In early Royal Oak Perpetual calendars. Produced in 1990, the reference 25636PT is exceptionally rare. Open-worked perpetual calendars were never mass-produced, and platinum examples were reserved for the most important clients. The movements finishing on these watches is on a level that's difficult to replicate today, largely because of the amount of hand labor involved. Most examples are locked away in long-term collections. When one surfaces publicly, it immediately becomes a reference point, not just for value, but for what AP was capable of during that era. This is the kind of watch that quietly defines a brand's credibility. Another perpetual calendar, 25820PT, while less visually extremed than the Openwork version 25820PT, it's arguably just as rare and in some ways more desirable for traditional collectors. This platinum perpetual calendar represents resilience, not just skeletonized, no excess, just weight, proportion, and technical mastery. Platinum Royal Oaks from this period were produced in extremely small numbers, often for specific markets or clients. You don't stumble into this one. You're either offered one or you aren't, and most people will never be offered one. The 25820 PT is a reminder that rarity isn't always loud. Sometimes it's heavy, as platinum is, quiet, and impossible to replace. Royal Oak Tourbillon 50th anniversary, reference 26730OR, released to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Royal Oak. This tourbillon reference was never intended to be broadly accessible. Crafted in rose gold, which is OR for reference numbers, by the way, this piece combined one of AP's most iconic case designs with one of its most prestigious complications. Production numbers were extremely limited and allocation was highly controlled. Even among AP VIP clients, access to this watch was rare. What makes this piece important isn't just complications, it's what it represents. This was AP's signaling who the Royal Oak is for in its modern era. Committed collectors, not casual buyers. Most people, this watch exists only in photos. These watches aren't rare because they're expensive. They're rare because we never were meant to see them circulate. Some were technical statements, some were anniversary pieces, some were experimental. All of them exist outside the normal flow of the market and off catalog. They don't show up at dealers' shops very often. They don't sit in display cases. And when they do appear, they usually disappear just as quickly. This is the level Audemars Piguet stops being a brand and starts being a manufacturer of legacy. My name's Chris Warrens, the owner of Warrior Time. I have a black eye, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.